Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Rumble game, and this one is a continuation of yesterday's games. Which you won, and what I mean by that is the Warwick game right after. We're still pretty Cinco de Mayo out. Which you do, so you can consider us pretty unstable while playing this game. Anyways, runes and masteries are what you typically expect. It's 18, 12, and 0, and I'm taking Magic Pen Red, Armor Yellow, Ability Power Blues, I think they were Scaling Blues as well, and Ability Power Quints. Just going straight out Murder Power as a Jungle Rumble. Now, Jungle Rumble presents a very interesting situation for the game. Oftentimes, Riot has been criticized for taking top lane or mid lane champions, nerfing them, and then just sort of telling them to go jungle because, fuck it, they're not going to bother rebalancing them for the lane. And it kind of seems Rumble may be heading into that direction as well. They recently, and by recently I mean a couple months ago, removed the reduction of damage against monsters from his Q, which enabled them to jungle so much better than ever before. It's ridiculously good how he farms once he gets a few ranks in his Q. And they've even added a jungle item suggestion when you pick Smite on Rumble. So Riot is kind of going all in, saying, yeah, we're promoting the idea of making Jungle Rumble. I mean, yeah, Jungle Rumble, Rumble the Jungle. So, I think at some point Riot might even make a few more changes. In fact, the charge system to his E is pretty damn good for the jungle, mostly because you're able to relegate how you use it a lot better. Because you can, if you used it before, you used his E once and you then use his E second right off the bat, it would kind of screw you up and you put it on cooldown. Because, you know, when you gank from the jungle, you have to be more calculating. You gotta you say if you use your E for anything else, and putting it on cooldown might actually be pretty restrictive. So it was a pretty good change for the jungle, although I'm pretty damn sure it was also made for the lane. The thing is, Rumble in lane presented a very quote-unquote toxic situation. I don't want to say it's toxic because that was what he was designed for, but unfortunately it sort of worked a little too well. Rumble was designed to be a top lane bully, right? He just goes in there. He's got no restrictions on him except cooldown and mismanagement of said cooldowns before he overheats. And he just beat up anybody. His whole shtick was that he would just run you over. That he'd be really unwieldy for last hitting and he'd be really difficult to control lanes, but he would just try to beat you up. Unfortunately, it didn't work exactly like that. He did it way too well and way too easily, and he just kind of destroyed a lot of people. The only way to avoid or to combat Rumble when he's at his best is just to flat out avoid him or pick some kind of ranged champion that kind of defeats the purpose of top lane, except not as much as right now. So Rumble got nerfed, he got changes over time. He's very abusive with a few items like Rylai's Scepter and Liandry's are like his core items, and he'll just tear anybody to shreds. So it's been kind of a wild ride to balancing Rumble properly. And again, I don't really think it was too much of an issue gameplay wise because that's what they wanted him to be, but I could understand that it was very frustrating to deal with in lane. A good Rumble just makes your life hell in lane, right? So I think and it's just my hypothesis that they're thinking maybe now we could just transport him into the jungle because we can't really, with all the changes we've been making, settle on something to do in top lane. It just seems like we might not have an idea of what to do. So he's in the jungle now. And does he actually provide anything good in the jungle? Well, I did mention one thing. His farming is ridiculous once you get a few ranks in his queue, and thanks to the runic echoes being introduced, it's made it a lot better. Mostly since the rune glaive was absolutely terrible on him. After getting the runic echoes, you can build Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Hourglass, Liandry's Torment, whichever in whatever order you want. I haven't tried the new AP items, so I don't really have an opinion on them, but I wouldn't figure they'd be too good on him. Anyhow, as far as the rest of his jungling goes, he's got high damage, pretty good damage actually, and most of it is sustained with the occasional mini burst, quasi-initiation, which is pretty good by its own in some cases, making it kind of full initiation against some compositions, and it itself brings quite a bit of damage, and he's kind of, you know, pseudo-tanky thanks to his W. It's not really that strong anymore, but it can provide him with bits of tankiness that he might need on, you know, clutch moments. So what's his issue though? Again, he doesn't have a problem farming. He doesn't really have a problem jungling at all. It doesn't really take a ridiculous build. It's rather easy for anyone to pick up. So again, why is he not really being picked? My hypothesis would be in that he just has an identity crisis. There's as good as he might be, he's, I would say, an above average jungler. I would actually give him probably like a right now a 7 out of 10. It's that he doesn't really have a reason to be played. There's nothing that he does that other champions don't do, or similar, or better, or more of. Because he seems rather just kind of a killing machine or a team fight machine, right? There's a bunch of champions that do that too, while also having a lot of control on the map, poking powers, better crowd control, and whatnot. So he just seems like that kind of in the middle kind of champion. So I've seen him be played in competitive twice, and he didn't do poorly in those 2 games, but it sort of didn't feel like he had any massive impact. Like they could have picked anyone else and still accomplished a very similar things. So, but that's also can be considered a plus though. Jungle Rumble doesn't may not stand out too much, may not do anything too special, but by the fact that he's a pretty good damn jungler, he doesn't suffer in the jungle role, means that if you're a good Jungle Rumble player or you just want to play him, you don't have to feel like you're putting your team at a disadvantage. Like when you play something like Jungle Karma for fun, it has limitations. It has things that it's very weak at. And in all honesty, when it was changed and stuff, playing it now does put kind of your team in a sort of disadvantage. Or like Jungle Jinx, for instance, considering the fact that I'm just burning her to pieces. I've played Jungle Jinx even occasionally now, but I've only made sure to play with friends because she is definitely weaker than she was before. As much fun as she can do, and as much as she can jungle to an extent if she does it properly. It's still not very good, and you might as well have picked anyone else and it would have probably been better. Jungle Rumble doesn't have that. I have actually played him in ranked Jungle Rumble, and I haven't felt like I was putting my team at a disadvantage. So that just kind of means like it's just pretty damn good. You don't have to feel like you're putting your team at a disadvantage. You could play him right now if you wanted to, and it would be fine. You could play him in rank, and you probably wouldn't lose because of it. I mean, if you play him poorly, of course, but that goes with anybody. So again, if his I don't know if his IP has been reduced to 4800 or if it's still 6300, but it's not someone I would go out of your way to play. Like I said, since he's rather having that whole identity crisis and doesn't do anything special, adding him to your lineup won't increase its variety or strength. It would just be a sort of a color pick, someone you want to play for fun. So don't go out of your way to get him unless you need him to complete your collection, or you really want to play Rumble, or he's free to play, or his cost has been reduced. I personally, like I said, I've been playing him as much as possible whenever my friends allow it. He's just so much fun to play. I can tear teams apart if I give him the chance. It's just so much fun. Plus, his whole character design actually feels one of the few champions that sort of adds to the mystique of playing him. Because it's just you're playing this gigantic Mechazord and just burning people to shreds. It's so much fun. As you can see, it's like when you get going, you get going. You just steamroll everyone, or in this case, you just blowtorch everyone. It's like there's nothing a lot of the enemies can do. And of course, you can see me fail a few abilities in my Drunken Stupor, and it's just kind of generally still rather inexperienced as Rumble. But it's like it's all in good fun, right? In League of Legends, when you're at least trying to learn new champions or just practicing them, it's alright to fail. In this case, we're all kind of failing as fuck, where everyone's just, again, not in the right state of mind. You can see this game is incredibly chaotic, kills going back and forth. I'm getting massively fed. Their Zed is running circles around us, and he's ridiculously huge. The enemy team's only weakness, or at least the Zed's only weakness, because he's kind of carrying the whole thing alongside the cannon sometimes, is that the enemy team Zed's team keeps getting picked off, and he can't really make all the sick-ass plays he wants to do without, running a huge risk. Like here, he killed 2 people rather well, actually. That was pretty damn skillful with him. But it kind of exposed them and allowed us to torch the rest of the team, because the rest of his team can't really follow up through on him. Anyways, I love that. We kill a bunch of people here, and then Jinx comes in to try to sneak us, but we just kite her in between us and just torture slowly with all our burn and all our CC. That was pretty brutal. Either way, though, like I said, I totally do recommend playing him. I have played him in ranked. I have had success with him in ranked, and so it's just someone you can add to your repertoire if you had him. Again, his runes and masteries, he's pretty much, I've tried him with all sorts of them. I've tried him with tanky ones. I've tried him with, let's call it a very tank-focused rune setup, aka movement speed quins, magic pen, or actually it was hybrid pen reds, armor yellow, magic resistance blues. I've tried them in all sorts of builds, and they've all pretty much functioned, right? I've sort of settled on having the offensive rumble because that one seems to reach a point where you can just go from camp to camp to camp and just melt everything and farm uncontrollably. You can see that my CS is quite high. I know I did get a lot of lane CS at some points, but even then in the jungle I can tear it to shreds. You'll see maybe in the background right now in the clips, I'll go to a jungle farming camp and I'll just 1Q would just torch it completely. And of course, his chasing potential is always such a cool killer thing. Rumble can chase down anybody down as long as you have your abilities properly spaced out so you don't overheat. Still though, this game has been quite a doozy. The enemy team has a Teemo, which is also someone I might make a video for in the future because he's kind of a very interesting jungler in the sense that he shouldn't really be working, but he seemingly is working, so yeah, people have been playing him. I hate him. I hate the idea of Jungle Rumble, though. I mean, not Rumble. Jungle Teemo, though. But because of the amount of people have been asking, I might as well do it. Anyways, Kennen goes in. He gets absolutely destroyed. Vayne gets killed as a response. I go against the Jinx. And you can see their Zed is on the sidelines trying to tear someone to shreds. I think he does kill the Brand, escapes the rest of my teammates. And as you can see, he's probably the #1 person we gotta kill, but there's jack shit I can do about it. So right now, I leave, but then the Zed somehow snuck his way through without us knowing, and he killed the Brand. So yeah, look at the kill disparity. I have 18 kills, the Zed has 18 kills, but I feel I can't really do anything. So we're kind of in a dire situation right now. I go a little too gung-ho here, kind of feeling I'm invincible. But unfortunately, this means the enemy Zed, the enemy Teemo, the enemy Thresh, all of them catch us and absolutely, gangbang us. So we died for almost 3. I mean, they use a lot of abilities, but we were brutally slaughtered. And of course, the enemy Jinx proceeds to continue feeding my teammates. It's quite a showcase of a game, right? How a good player can stomp even a hyper-fed champion. Though it also is showcasing one of Rumble's weaknesses. Even in lane, I was told that a Rumble can't particularly carry a lot of games as much as you'd want him to. That it gets to a point where the enemy team can just sort of play around his abilities, and you can't kill them fast enough. Sort of the same situation that a lot of sustained champions find themselves in. Though, of course, I also have to say that my ability to play Rumble may not actually be at the most optimum yet, or at least Jungle Rumble. So that also can be a criticism here. But still, it does showcase, Rumble's generic weakness against just having a team composition that is sort of working together, or at least working together to work around him. My teammates, again, they're all sorts of inebriated and sort of not there, so you can't really blame us for getting our asses kicked, or at least them for not sort of, having this whole team cohesion. It's still a normal game, so yeah, normally when I play with this group of friends, they don't care too much. Still, though, again, I am giving props to the enemy Zed, though, because motherfuckers destroying us. Here we're going for the dragon, and he comes in and just runs a goddamn train on the entire team. I do kill the Jinx, but then he turns around and slaughters the rest of us. So holy shit, just one player can carry a team that was getting waffle stomped, or at least a champion like Zed can do that. Of course, it doesn't help that we're not building that much armor, so that too is a kind of a criticism of us. Either way, I get caught here by the Kennen, and I kind of was a little too late on my hourglass, so it results in me getting picked off. And that sort of snowballs into the rest of my teammates getting absolutely giga-wrecked. And yeah, we pretty much just lost hard. It was a pretty big throw, and it was my fault, honestly, for just being a little too greedy with my hourglass and my summoner spells, so yeah. Either way, hopefully at least this showcased a little bit of what makes Jungle Rumble a pretty damn good jungler, and what kind of makes him sort of not quite there yet for widespread use. Aside from the fact that he's kind of is one of the least purchased champions too, that's also keeping him at bay. Either way, hooray for Jungle Rumble, and I hope this encourages a few of you to try him out. Hooray! This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet.